Let's do this, Myro. Let's do it for the people. Ugh. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo goo. Painting goo. Ha ha. Oh, sip sip. I need sip. Oh, glorious. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo. Ah! It's painting goo. It's painting goo. Painting me, painting you. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Bring it home, Myro. You prucky, petrified primate, you. Oh, stretch you. Painting goo. Goo, goo, goo. Painting goo. Ah. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo goo. It's fucking goo. It's painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Goo 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 goo. Painting goo. Goo 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 goo. Oh, glorious. That's it, you marvelous monkey. Bring it home. Painting goo. Painting goo. It's fucking painting goo. Oh, so beautiful. My ancestors weep with the beauty. If you have any honor, you will tip the monkey for his services. How dare you interrupt the intro? I don't care if it was the end of the intro, it was still the intro. Welcome to Paintingu, my beloved Japanites. To another... What? I fucked that up. Excuse me. Reset. Welcome to Paintingu, my beloved Japanites. As we set sail and engage in another glorious episode. The glorious light of heaven shines brightly upon Paintingu this fine day. Indeed, we are set to finish strong this Friday. by completing Japanese Ostrich Mark II. A glorious paintingu. A paintingu I take much pride in. After the bitch fit I threw about a week ago. And stupidly, foolishly, in my rage against the fucking Monkey King, destroyed my current symmetrical painting and Japanese Ostrich Mark I. But things have changed. Things have been remedied. My sore still burn bright. Even in this mortal core I have been relegated to. Which, of late, has vexed me even further. My neck is killing me. Whatever this fucking cyst thing is. Oh, whatever you do, don't go down the YouTube rabbit hole of Dr. Pimper Popper. Oh my god, I have seen things no mortal should see. Never mind, demigod. My neck is inflamed. I'm sure there's many excuses for it, but I'm blaming it on the stress. Desmondu, Stabaru, brother maxed out Baru, welcome to Paintingu. Indeed, you have secured yourself some extra honor this day, maxed out Baru. Preemptively placing a comment in the chat has brought you much honor this day, but you must still pay for Paintingu, or I will fling Garros at you. Do not make me remove his aluminium bucket and sunglasses and unleash his cocaine powers. This is how crazy I am. I was making coffee there the other day, and I monologued to myself while making coffee as Carlos. I did the like. I want to either animate this or just record it. If those of you that were in the Telegram chat, you remember the fucking day I had the cat here randomly, a fucking stray came in or whatever, like, and it was a ginger one nonetheless. But I did a whole thing of like, my name is Carlos Cocaine. I once was the prized possession of Don Branco, a renowned and vicious, infamous drug lord, Colombian cartel member, and widely respected criminal. He had a fascination with gathering beautiful animals. I was plucked from my home in the jungle and was placed in a cage for months. Don Branco force-fed me so much cocaine that I developed X-ray vision. The only thing keeping me from seeing beyond your fucking skull is this aluminium bucket and sunglasses. Defenderu, demigod of Paintingu, saved me from a hellish existence. Why Garros tends to speak Japu is probably my fault. It's hard keeping all of these personalities in my head. But I want to do little videos for each of them. As you can see, I have placed Tobias back upon his perch. Man, I don't even have the lights on, and what the fuck, the fucking brightness of this screen right now. There we go. The auto adjust on my fucking laptop camera is a fickle fuck. It vexes me so. But the glorious light of heaven is shining brightly, so I ref the lights off. And you can still see the painting quite clearly. Look up tonsil stone removal. Oh god, I can only yeah. Actually, I think I've seen stuff like that. Isn't that the little white gritty calcification build up in right at the back, where the tonsils are? I think I have seen shit like that. Excuse me while I descend into proper painting posture. Glorious. Right. Today, there's not much to do on this goo. I have but a t-shirt to praise upon the T-Rex. Ah, Brother Griffu! Oi! Indeed. How are you? Wie geht's, mein Bruder? How is Gina? Is she well? Are you working today? You're driving? I'm assuming the dog is with you. Give me all of your info. Do it now. There's not much to do in today's goo. We'll see how long it goes. I don't know how long. I wasn't planning on going that long today. We have a lot to do. The female and I have a fair bit to do, but she's in late, so I may as well just fire away. We're going to a concert tomorrow, which she is going to thoroughly enjoy. But it's like Cascada and like Bass Hunter and fucking in trance or some shite, do you know what I mean? It's like 90s music, which I like, so I'm gonna know pretty much everything, I'll have heard most of it over the years, but it's gonna be a lot of me standing there just being like, Nova's at home keeping an eye on her. Good call. A sound tactical move to leave the toothed one at home to guard the female. That is, of course, exactly what they're for. To protect the ones we love. Female and I watched Aladdin last night. She needed something, I was like, come on, we watch something just overwhelmingly positive, just feel good shit. Because of the whole vehicular incident that she had. She was still quite shook up. The messaging in Aladdin, it's funny when you go back at I haven't watched Aladdin easily since I was probably a teenager or something, maybe even before that. So I haven't seen it in a wrong time. I have not watched Aladdin in a wrong time. And did anyone am I the only one that noticed or thinks that he noticed? Maybe I'm projecting. Maybe I'm being a bit of a fag. I don't think so. But I noticed some gay undertones between the relationship of the genie and Aladdin that I never picked up on before. There's a few scenes that are just seconds long where there's an interaction and some dialogue between Aladdin and shit, at the end and then in the middle. And I was watching it last night, and don't get me wrong, there's still plenty of the movie that's fucking fantastic. I love the animation, the way they animate Abu, the monkey, and the rug, the magic carpet, the way they're able to show emotion, even though it's a carpet, the way they animate it and all, the shapes it takes, they make it very anthropomorphic, they make it. Would that be the word? They make it so human in a sense, it's that's one of the things I really appreciate about the older Disney movies is those things are hand painted, and the forward thought and the mastery over the art of animation and art itself, painting or whatever, just imagery, visual effects. In some of the movies, it's not just Aladdin, but they portray emotion and give the audience, give the viewer information simply through certain movements of things sometimes. And I find that that's an incredible skill. Do you know what I mean? You do have to appreciate, whether you like it or not, there is subliminal messaging, there's all sorts of ideological messaging and stuff like that. I mean, the fact that Jasmine is the typical feminist fucking I'm sick of tradition and I shouldn't be married off to some dude, blah blah blah, and which is hilarious because it's still her that has to pick the suitor. I thought that was funny that she's bitching and moaning that she has to pick a prince to marry, and it's you are so entitled just by being you and being born as the Sultan's daughter that you literally get to choose your like a prince to marry, and you're gonna complain about that? Like that's crazy. Like, you know, some of the stuff in it, like when you're watching it with a clear, logical, you know, adult mind. Like the messaging at the start, like where it's like the Aladdin is a thief. He steals bread, you know, and the guards are chasing him, but they make the guards ugly and mean, and they make Aladdin, like, you know, handsome and fun, and like, you know, and they give him a little monkey, you know, to like, you know, make the kids like the monkey and stuff. Like it's all genius. It's genius story writing, and it's genius um like direction and editing of like this happens, then this happens, then this happens. Like the way they take your mind on a arc. Because like I recently watched the, not recently, I'd say the last like couple of years. It was back before I moved. The last 5 years, I rewatched Tarzan and Hercules, and I would say Tarzan and Hercules are definitely better than Aladdin. Um, I think Aladdin is like pretty good, but it like relies heavily on Robin Williams doing the genie. But it's fascinating to me how you look at these stories and it's like this is what we got brought up with. Now, your average kid got brought up with just Disney typically, but like I also got brought up with Conan and Disney. So I was, on the one hand I was watching Batteries Not Included, and then on the other hand I was watching what was that fucking movie called? Space some, not Space Invaders. There was a movie. It was like Mad Max in space. I can't remember the fucking name of it. Like it was one of my dad was like, "I love that movie. It's so unique," or something. Like I don't remember much about it. Then there was like Cherry 1000 or Cherry 2000, which is like some just redheaded bitch in a post-apocalyptic, um, you know, fucking very similar to Mad Max again. And like the cover of it was just her in a tank top, you know, looking all sexy and shit, like with a fucking RPG over her shoulder. Like, the more of that shit I see, this whole bollocks of in the last like 10 to 15 years of like, we need more female protagonists. Like, you know, are you fucking serious? Were you people were either not alive during the 80s and 90s, or you're straight up lying, or both. Because the amount of fucking bitches that were plastered all over fucking billboards, and like they were like the hero of the movie, and they were sexy and they were powerful and they like shot loads of dudes with guns, and like it's so funny to me now when I look back at stuff and I look at like what people are talking about now. Like the whole concept of there's nothing new under the sun is so fucking true. Where these fucking psychopaths have perfected the art of traumatizing a populace, so it basically grants this like, I think they traumatize the populace to what's the term I'm looking for, to provoke a amnesia like state in people where they forget shit and they just remold your mind, you know? Like, and people who are like big into like bigger truthers than me or whatever, or they're like into MK Ultra and shit like that, they're probably like, yeah, no shit, dip fuck, you know, like, you know, that's exactly what it's all about. Like, but it's just fascinating to me, like on a personal level, when you're looking at all this shit and you're like, you know, realizing how this realm is run on a meta level, at least in the physical, and then you take into account the spiritual and the cosmological or whatever, like, and it's just, it becomes so shameful and disgraceful that this place is so tantalizingly beautiful and infinite in possibilities and all this stuff, but the fucking utter gobshites that, you know, have directed our fucking, at least attempted to direct our mainstream existence for God knows how long. It's the same shit over and over, same stories with the same fucking points. You know, like how many times have they tried communism? Well, that's not real communism. Like, it's like they say, like, you know, the definition of insanity is doing something over and over and over and over and over again, expecting a different result or some shit. Like, you know, and it's like, that's what I see these people doing. You know, that's exactly what I see these people doing. I see our society over like hundreds of years just doing the same shit over and over and over again. Just the snake eating itself, and like very like actually just minute overall differences, mainly just like large aesthetic differences take place, you know. But also at the same time, the aesthetics, like you know, especially from the point of view of an artist, and like the amount of stuff that I see in terms of like different aesthetics and styles and shit, like even a lot of that is like rehashed and is the same. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like we really do. We don't really create anything. We just manipulate stuff. Like, but the way they manipulate shit is so boring. Um, the giant dick in the sky, is that in Aladdin? Is it? I didn't look out for it. Um, got T-shirts for the females ordered. Like PEINTEINGU T-shirts or fucking just matching T-shirts. um, did you see the giant dick? Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really like. I kept pausing the movie and then like commentating on it and all. Like, I was just like, that's actually hilarious. Like some of the things they, like the fact that Jafar, when you like the first time he uses this snake staff to hypnotize the Sultan, Jasmine's father, and I was like, if he has a magic like, okay, so he's a sorcerer and he has a magic staff that can, like, all he has to do is like and point it at you and then like say shit and then you do it. So he has a mind control fucking like snake cobra staff. What the fuck do you need a genie for? What the like, that's like easily arguably like such an overwhelmingly, that's like an OP weapon in gaming terms. Like, he is the sorcerer to the Sultan. So he already has like an incredible standing in the, you know, in the area, you know, in the kingdom or whatever. He lives in a palace. And like, sure, you could argue that it's just like, oh, he just has an insatiable lust for power. Okay, fair enough. That's pretty basic, bitch. But like, multiple times throughout the movie, you like, if you're looking at it with adult eyes, you're like, Jafar's a fucking gobshite. Like, he's actually a pretty shit villain, because he's just like got an insatiable lust for power, but like he doesn't realize how he could use the power he does have already to be arguably just as powerful as an all-powerful genie. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you have a hypnotic snake staff thing, and they show you that he's able to like manipulate the Sultan with it, then what else do you need? He essentially control, like, the guards even say that they take their orders from Jafar. So like, what more does this chap need? Like, he's basically in control. How the fuck do you lose to a common street rat, in quotes, like, in that situation? Like, so the villain is just this fucking absolute mongo. Like, I just thought that was hilarious. I look extra knackered today. I am though. I didn't get a good sleep. The last 2 weeks, man, has just been non-stop. Like shit. Like, every day something has happened. Like, we have to get, the fucking sink is leaking again. We have to get new taps this weekend. And there was water all over the toilet. Like, after yesterday's stream? I think it was after yesterday's stream. And I walked into my toilet. There was water all over the floor, and like, you know, I wasn't expecting there to be water all over the floor. I nearly fucking died. like the fucking, what was it? You know, like 60% of home deaths or something happen in the bathroom or some shit. Like, you know, like that shit was going through my, like, I opened the door, walked in just to take a piss, like, and my right foot, I was in my bare feet, like tiled toilet floor just has this like a millimeter of water all over the right hand side of it near the shower. And as I stepped in, my foot slipped, but thankfully my hand was still on the door, and my other foot was still outside the toilet on the carpet on the landing. So I had I managed to just put my free hand on the wall, and I just like caught myself before I even fell at all. But like my foot fucking went whoop like someone put a banana down. Like, it was like if I'd have strolled in there with a bit less like awareness and care, or if I'd have been like, if it had been in the morning and I was tired or something, I was like, groggy and shit, man, the chances of me slipping and cracking the back of my head opening the other day was fucking so high. Like, and then there's a fucking stain coming through the ceiling and all into the kitchen because there was so much water like built up beside the shower. Just mad shit, like, like the female having that like little vehicular confrontation. I can't even call it a crash, like, do you know what I mean? Like, just funny mad shit, like, and I'm just stressed and tired. um you can't appreciate all Disney cartoons unless you're noticing all the phallic imagery. um yeah, like, I didn't even keep an eye out for that shit. Like, it's probably because I kept pausing it and talking about like the narrative side of things. Like, I wasn't even paying attention that much to the visuals, apart from the monkey and the magic carpet, because just the way they're animated is brilliant. Like, the way the genie is animated is brilliant as well. And some of the scenes, the way that like he just shifts drastically into different shapes and sizes and stuff, and is like doing all sorts of mad shit. Like, the songs in it are good, very catchy and shit. Um, like some of the visuals in it are brilliant. Like when Jafar fucking uh turns Genie, like, not that he turns Genie evil, but like Jafar gets the lamp and Genie has to, obey him, and then they make Genie like huge and really like evil and intimidating looking, and he like lifts the palace out of the fucking city and all, and places it on top of the mountain, and then Jafar fucking sticks Aladdin in the tower and uses his cobra staff thing as like a golf club while he's singing, like, and then just like cracks the tower into the distance and all, like. And um some striking visuals in it and shit, like, and just the fact that it's all drawn for the most part. You can notice where they put CGI bits in. um you can notice that a lot in like Tarzan as well, like when he's like, flying through the jungle and shit, like. um I thought that was so funny. Like, I can't remember when that was mentioned first, but like, it's like, why doesn't Tarzan have a beard? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like simple shit like that when pointed out is just like hilarious to me. Where it's like, so hold on, this nigga's apparently a fucking, raised by a bunch of monkeys in a jungle, and like, he's clean shaven, like, whatever about his really long hair, and it's all matted into dreadlocks because of the dirt and stuff like that. But like, has no hair on his hands, or his forearms, or his thighs, or his shins, or his back, or his chest. Tarzan doesn't have any chest hair, like, do you know what I mean? Like, and he's like got a sculpted like Chad jaw, and no beard, and he's a jungle man, like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's so fucking funny and stupid. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, and like, it's also something that like never crossed my mind when I saw the movie when I was younger. You know, at no point was I like, how come he doesn't have a beard? Like, shit's hilarious. Like, part of me wants to go back and just like watch all of them and try and pick shit like that out. Like, like, one thing I've always thought was really funny is like, what's the story with all the redheads? You know, and you see that in gaming to this day. I mean, like, Horizon Zero Dawn, redheaded young one. The movie Brave, redheaded young one. Fuck Hercules, redheaded dude. Fucking like, there's so many of them. Like, don't get me wrong, they also put like loads of gingers in, like, if there's a nerd or like, fucking a wheezing, bespeckled fucking, like, like, they'd make him ginger too, was what, like the Jewish guy out of fucking Family Guy and all, um like, it's weird to me, like, how, like, on the one hand gingers are like you know, like a stereotypical redhead, and it's like a fucking feeble, weak, nasally, you know, speech impediment, goofy teeth, fucking, you know, like, yeah, you know, stupid looking nerd glasses, all that shit. And then the other hand, you have like all these heroes, male and female, redheads, and you're just like, why though? Because you never heard any of those arguments of like, we need to see more redheads, and like, where's the DEI for gingers? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's always like, we need a black protagonist. We need a fucking, like, and that's like, that's what's so funny the last year, like, you know, what, roughly 10 years, big style. All the Disney movies being remade, like Snow White's supposed to be coming out, like, and it's already like nobody, like everyone has been shitting all over that vapid little cunt that they've got to play Snow White, and they fucking they did the same thing they did with Sonic. You remember everybody bitched about Sonic, and they were like, "Oh my god, he looks fucking awful. He looks super creepy. Like, change him. Like, what the fuck?" And then they were like, "Okay," and they changed how Sonic looked for the movie, and it actually ended up being a good thing. And people were like, "Oh, thank fuck, no!" Like, it's actually, oh, Jim Carrey's the bad guy. He's Eggman. Like, fair enough. Like, you know, and they got like a fairly good response. Like, you know, like not a really bad one. Like, you know, but like Beauty and the Beast, fucking, um, well, no, Beauty and the Beast didn't blackify everything, did they? Wasn't fucking, what's that cunt's name? Hermione. Was that the bitch they got for Beauty and the Beast? I can't even remember. But like, they fucked up with Snow White, and it hasn't even come out yet. Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power, season 2 has already been slated out of it. There's loads of games that have come out that, like, you know, had something to do with Sweet Baby Inc. and all, like, and they're all about fucking wokeifying their games and shit. They've all flopped. Meanwhile, a Chinese game comes out and it's fucking like got 2.5 million fucking, and it's a single player game. You know, it's not one of these multiplayer games where everyone's getting on and playing it with each other. It's a fucking single player action adventure RPG, and it's got fucking like some of the best Steam sales in years. You know, it's really like uh satisfying, and it's a relief to start to see this stuff in the mainstream for everybody to see, all over, plastered all over YouTube and shit. You know, that like, it's no longer go woke, go broke. It's like, you guys aren't just broke now. Like, you've like completely, like, all of these, like, IGN, the fucking gaming review, like the gaming journalist thing or whatever, GameSpot, all of them, nobody listens to them, nobody cares. Like, they're like, everyone's like, you know, fucking, this game, this first person shooter came out, it's got a load of fucking woke shit in it and all this, like, whoever it was made by, like, the way they made the characters look and all, like, people hated it, they fucking hated it. It came out, got really bad reviews, low player count, nobody liked it, thought it was like just like a bad version of a gay woke version of Overwatch or something, and nobody fucking playing it. And then they made it free to try and encourage people to play it. Still nobody fucking playing it. Fucking IGN just reviewed it and gave it a 7 out of 10. And it's like, you know, it's just like the disconnect between all these corporations and all, like, all the big money, like the AAA shit, like, you know, these huge movies, these huge games, these huge TV shows, like, it's all turning to shit. It's all turning to shit. And I couldn't be happier. I'm so happy. I'm so, like, relieved and satisfied to see all of these projects done by these faggots and gobshites just totally fail. It brings me so much joy. I laugh at them. All those 90s Disney films were written by Broadway queens. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Songs are catchy though. They are catchy. And like, there's a load of I've put some of them on, I think, on Painting Goo before. There's a load of metal covers of Disney songs that are like really good. Like, really fucking good. Like, epically fucking good. Murica has Sweeping Beauty. I don't remember much of Sleeping Beauty. That's not one I've seen a lot. Like I remember some imagery for it, like the sorceress and stuff like that, but I don't remember much from it. Like Tank Girl, I've never watched Tank Girl. I heard good things. Um, Game called Perfect. Oh, Perfect Dark. Yeah, Perfect Dark and Perfect Dark Zero. Yeah, you're totally right, man. Redheaded female protagonist in Perfect Dark. Joanna Dark was a 10. Yeah, and so was the game. Do you know if Perfect Dark is one of the few games to ever get a perfect 10, a perfect score? The original one, and then they made Perfect Dark Zero for like 360, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. I thought it was a really good shooter. Um, but fucking yeah, like Perfect Dark is like one of the few games ever to come out, and but what came out in the 90s or something like, or early 2000s or something, maybe even earlier. Um, I feel like I have a fucking cast on my neck. My neck is so sore from that fucking thing that like every time I go to turn, I'm like, ugh! um, yeah, like Perfect Dark, the original one, as far as I know, was one of the few games ever. I think GameSpot actually did a video on it one time where they were like, most games get an 8 or a 9 or whatever if they're really good. Like it's hard to get like a perfect score, and a game called Perfect Dark got a perfect score. And it was a first person shooter. Like like first person shooters are like a staple foundation like of gaming. Like do you know what I mean? Like anyone can pick up a first person shooter. Even like people who have never played a video game before can pick up a first person. It's like this stick moves where you look. This stick moves where like moves you forward and back. And like once they grasp how to control that, it's one of the easiest ways to keep people on the rails in a game because it feels like you're the one doing shit. And that's why a lot of games like fucking like Dying Light, the zombie game, I play it with fucking I've been playing it the last few months with Demon Hunter Bear and his missus. I've played that game years ago when it came out for us. Played it like fucking 3 or 4 times all the way through with my friends and shit. Like it's one of my favorite games ever. It's amazing. It's a zombie, hack and slash survival thing, but it's first person and you can do like parkour, free running, and there's melee in it, but it's all first person, and it's like and you're melee and zombies and stuff, and there's different types of zombies, ones that are really aggressive and quick, and ones that are just the lumbering walkers, and ones that are like fucking big like ogre things and shit and all, like, and then there's like excellent gunplay in it and all. Like it's like it's one of the few games out. Like there really is only a couple of hundred games out there, even though there's millions of games in total. There's only a couple of hundred games that are genuinely amazing games that are worth buying full price. That like a load of really hard work and like beautiful art and mastery of like sound or visuals or programming. Like do you know what I mean? Like there's only a couple of hundred of them really that are like really worth talking about. Which is crazy to me. It's crazy to me because like it's similar. It's kind of like the opposite, but similar to like I was watching the Lotus Eaters yesterday. Like when you talk about the statistics of crime and stuff like that and populations and all, like the countries that have what was it, El Salvador? I couldn't believe it when I heard the stats on this, and it's like if it's true, that's wild. Like El Salvador was one of the most, if not the most dangerous places on the planet. Like I don't know, 10, 20 years ago or some shit. And whoever got in charge and put 60,000 people in prison. It's like 1% of the population or something. Put them behind bars within a few weeks or months of overtaking the place. And the crime rate dropped something like 98% and has stayed low and shit. And that's what they were saying is like, it's hilarious. It's like, well, what do you know? Look what happens when you put all the bad people in prison. All the bad stuff stops. Like, it's like I've said this a lot on stream that it is true, but it also isn't true. There's truth in it, but it's not like wholly true. That like similar to like Vox would say that most people are idiots. This is true. Most people are idiots. I've said loads of times in the streams like I said it like yesterday. Most people these days, especially in cities, are like just fucking scum on a level. And that is true, but only to a point. There's still like statistically, 80% probably now, maybe like if you're talking about the whole realm, like 80% of humans are law abiding, helpful, totally polite, whether they believe in God or not. Like, do you know what I mean? Like 80% of people are like just totally G, can get along with each other, regardless of race or group or creed or belief system or, you know, whatever, like, or economic status. Like, most people are just totally alright. The tiny minority that actually like do horrifying crimes and like fuck people over and do all of this shit, like there's so few of them in comparison. And like you could say the same thing about the ideological shit, where it's like all this woke stuff, like, you know, with all the trans and like, oh, there's so many of us. No, there isn't. There's only like, they're like less than 1% of the population. They're just really loud, you know. And like it speaks to that like kind of overall, like the age we're in right now is this age of like there's just so much filler. There's just so much contemptuous, wasteful, like uninteresting, horrifying, even just like wasteful filler. It's just shit for the sake of shit, you know. Just it's just like more, more, more. We need more. Like, and it's like, no, you don't. Like, you need better. I find it hilarious, just like noticing all these grand patterns and like why they happen and why they keep happening. The endless gaslighting over a lack of female badass characters in entertainment is beyond annoying. It really is, isn't it? Because like for people like us who genuinely love a lot of mainstream entertainment for the last 30 odd years or whatever, we're sitting there going, what the fuck? Like, that's, are you Tomb Raider, Perfect Dark, Primeval? You just start listing them all off, like Ripley from Aliens. Like, you just start listing all of them off the top of your head, and you're just like, there's so many of them, and there's and like most of them are really hot females. Do you know what I mean? And like, if you were a feminist in it, like if in a and you were attempting to use logic, and I don't think those two can coincide, but just hear me out. Like, if you were coming from the perspective of like, we want more, we want females to have more of a say, we want females to be more prominent in things, we want females to, like, you know, be this and this, that, and the rest, then you would do stuff like that. You would make movies like Tomb Raider, you would make games like Perfect Dark, you would make you would write books like The Hunger Games. You know, you have a female protagonist who is physically attractive and she kicks ass. It's not complicated. Do you know what I mean? It's really not complicated. Like, you want women, you want to make women look good. It's really easy to make women look good. You know, like you don't even need to make them look good. Women have a tendency, when you look for the right one, women just are. They look good. They look beautiful. The female form is attractive in itself. So you can just take that, put it in a movie. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, but they like. Do you remember when Victoria's Secret they made that billboard and they put out an ad campaign for a load of overweight, ugly bitches wearing their fucking underwear? It's like nobody wants to see that. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, but like these people are like, that's how you know they're Satanists. Do you know what I mean? Or like of that frequency, of that low, ugly, profane, perverted frequency, where they look at ugly, perverted, disgusting, like weird, you know, looking people, and are like, yeah, but they're beautiful on the inside. And like, and then those people are put up to the forefront, and you realize they're like fucking quite often like absolute narcissistic lunatics or pedophiles or something. Like I really believe in the whole physiognomy thing. Like, do you know what I mean? Because I even look at myself and I'm like, I am a tired, angry, you know, lunatic. Like, you know, like, I'm a tired, angry clown. Like, you know, like, I fit that archetype of like silly but like really serious at the same time. I'm a joker, you know. I don't class myself as a comedian because I don't write jokes. Like, I respect comedians. I respect the craft of being a comedian and being able to formulate something that actually triggers like laughter, you know. I'm just like wacky, you know. And there's a big difference. There's a big difference. I have nowhere the same kind of like analytical and repeatable skill as that shit. And I've never tried to either. I've never trained it, you know. So there's that too, like. But like, it's. I look at how like don't get me wrong. It can be difficult in one's life to be completely honest, you know. You don't want to hurt people's feelings. There's like internal shame, guilt, your ego gets in the way, all sorts of things. But when you grow a set, you know, as a man anyway, as a woman, when you grow the fuck up, if you ever do, I mean, one could argue that females never really grow up, which makes sense because they have to relate to children. But like, there comes a point where logic and reason should come to the forefront, and your feelings about anything should simply be that. It should be your opinion or your feelings about or of facts. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's insanely prevalent in today's society where people straight up just deny reality because my feelings, you know. Whole corporations like leading to all sorts of fucking financial loss, and like fucking arguably the medical industry leading to a lot of people being killed systematically. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, but it feels better to do it this way. Like, we don't want to be racist. Yeah, well, now everyone's dead or dying. Like, you fucking psychopath gobshites, like, you know. It's like, I think I said this recently. We live in an age of cowardice. Do you know what I mean? There's loads of ways you could frame it. It's like, you know, it's the age of deception. Like, you know, it says this in the Bible and all. But it's like loads of things. It's like incredibly negative. You know what I mean? It's like all the negative. You know, it's like superficial, but it's also not superficial. It's like really material and really serious and really dark. You got like child trafficking, and then you got like OnlyFans. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, not only do you have a highly pervasive low tier evil, you also have a highly pervasive high tier evil, which it makes total set. Like I would agree with a lot of the shit that Kingdom of Context channel guy says with the investigating Babylon stuff, where he's like, we're living in the age of like, you know, shit's about to get real dark for like 42 months, and then Jesus is gonna come back. Like, it's like, it makes a lot of sense, because the sheer amount of blatant stupidity and straight up evil is like profound once you become, you know, aware of it. Like, but that's obviously not to say that like this place isn't still beautiful and there's loads of cool shit. Like, there isn't like still loads of cool shit happening. I mean, like, the festival's going on right now. I can't wait to see all the videos and his new special. Like, the next few weeks, the energy over the next few weeks in the bear community is going to be fucking electric. It's going to be awesome. I've no doubt in that. Like, I believe that wholeheartedly. Like, but at the same time, you do have that, like, their side is getting worse and all that shit. But like I said, it's like, it's nice to see the woke stuff failing in gaming and movies and stuff. Like, so it's like, that's why I've said this for a while now on the stream, that like, because you can see the pendulum starting to swing, we live in such interesting times that like within a few years we've gone from like, you can't say anything remotely critical about you can't say fag, you can't say nigger, you can't say this is. There was a point where people would freak out if he was just like, you know, oh, that's a bit gay, and they'd be like, well, what's wrong with gay? You know, what's wrong with being gay? Like, you're using gay as a pejorative. Like, But now it's all over it's all over YouTube. It's all over everywhere now, where they're like, "Fuck you, faggots!" Like, get like, go woke, go broke. Like, the gays, nobody wants your gay shit anymore. Like, far less people are putting the flags outside their shops and stuff like that when the fucking gay month comes around and all. Um, like Owen was saying the other day, it's like it's over. It's done. Like, people are like, no, like, it's gone. We're not doing that anymore. Like, we're not putting up with this shit. So what's gonna happen next is gonna be really interesting, because it's not like they're gonna give up. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they're gonna be like, oh shucks, our fucking malevolent homosexually globo agenda didn't pan out the way we wanted it to. No, they're gonna do what they always do. They're gonna double, triple, quadruple down. So it's gonna be really interesting to see, like, in what way they do that. And like, as far as I can tell, what's gonna, like, I have a strong feeling something's gonna kick off in France or England, because those places are like incredibly gay and fucked up right now. you know like, France especially for the gay shit, and then fucked up especially for Britain. Like, there's like a stabbing every day, like all over the news and shit. It's crazy. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if something significant really kicked off in one of the because like, Europe's been on fire for a while now with all the fucking foreigners coming in, like. So, like, I really wouldn't be surprised if, like, something really big kicked off in France or something. I said it a few years ago when they moved that giant electromagnetic machine thing to, was it in Nice in France? When you can just kind of feel something kind of weird going on in the fucking zeitgeist or whatever, like. And a few years ago, like, at a particular time, with all this like Satan shit going on in the news, they moved this fucking massive electromagnetic machine that essentially just generates a huge electromagnetic field, like similar to the CERN stuff. And they moved one to a particular place in France. And I was just like, I have a feeling that, like, they're gonna do like a fucking, like, with COVID, they were like, oh no, everyone's gonna get sick. It came from China. Everybody has to put a mask on and take vaccines. I think the next thing is going to be, like, a load of people just drop dead overnight because they turned on some sort of machine, and it, like, just, like, boils everyone's skin and blood in, like, the space of, like, 30 seconds or something, like. And then, because, like, Owen has said something similar to this, where it's like, because that would look like a nuke hit the place, but nothing actually hit the place, So, like, and that's what, like, I'm watching Owen, I'm listening to his opinions and stuff like this, and I'm a bit more fucking, like, crazy than he is, and a bit less logical. I have a tendency to be, like, more fucking outlandish with my thought processes. But a lot of the time, I fucking, something quite close to what I said ends up happening. Like the fucking recent thing with the Trump, I was like, they're gonna call themselves Trumpites. Maybe they were calling themselves Trumpites before that, like, I didn't fucking know. But, like, the fact that I was like, they're gonna call themselves Trumpites, and they're all gonna fucking clip their ears in solidarity with Trump, and there's gonna be a new era because he has literally, become like, this, him being shot in the ear is a clear sign of his divinity. Like, do you know what I mean? Sarcasm. And then within a few days, they're all wearing the things on their ear, and then Hulk Hogan calls them Trumpites, and I'm like, there's no way. Like, but it makes perfect sense, because, like, from growing up watching stuff a lot, I understand how to form a narrative, and, like, why certain things are important for a narrative. Like character development, and, like, story development, and fucking the arc of a story, and, like, why is a bad guy bad, and all this thing and all this stuff. Like, so you look at what's going on, and then you go, if this plays out the way they're, like, implying, then, like, this is gonna happen. And then it happens, and you're like, oh my god, these people are crazy. Like, because it's like, you're basing it, like, well, not your, but like I'm coming from the perspective of, like, well, this is what would happen in a movie. But we don't live in a movie. We, like, well, I don't think we do anyway. But, like, we're supposed to allegedly live in the real realm, like in the real world, like, do you know what I mean? But you start saying these things that would probably happen in a movie, and they fucking happen in real life, and you're just like, are you fucking serious? Like, I would not be surprised if like fucking that stuff, like, you know, eels just spawn out of nowhere. Nobody knows how they fucking, you know, how they reproduce and how they multiply and stuff like that. And then there's like stories of like huge schools of fish just like dropping out of the sky, like birds as well. Um, could you imagine if like this place actually works like that? That like you just never noticed it, you just never seen it before, but like when you see it with your own eyes, it like melts your brain because you're like, oh my god, what the fuck is life? It'd be so funny to me if you like, you know, in the next few years, shit gets like so wild that stuff like that starts to become mainstream. Where it's like, you know, you'll see it on the news, like in HD, a werewolf being like shot by a bunch of locals, and then it like runs away and hops a fence or something, like, you know that typical fucking like last night in a parkway by Empire, fucking locals battled it out with a supposed werewolf. Like, and then like you'll see the footage and you're like, well, it fucking looks like a werewolf, doesn't it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, because it says that in the Bible. It says that, like, you know, when these times come about, that like shit's just gonna kick off, and you're gonna see like monsters and stuff, like, you know, just ripping people apart and shit. Like I wouldn't be surprised at all. If anything, it would get my engine going. I'd be like, are you serious? It's actually getting biblical. Awesome. Like, I'm like, female. We need to go to B&Q. I need to get myself some weapons. Like, need a pickaxe. Fucking like, I'm gonna be like making a lot of spears. Like, melting down silverware and fucking like pouring it over a fucking pouring it over a spear and shit. Like, you imagine how fun it would be. Like, I know obviously there'd be a like way higher likelihood increase in like in you dying prematurely, but like, wouldn't it be so much more fun over the next like 10-15 years if like we actually had to, you know, paint symbols on your door at night so the vampires won't come in and fuck you up? Like, you know what I mean? It would like, it would almost be like, it'd be more of a physical stress and less of a spiritual and mental stress. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, because you can actually fight and kill the thing, you know? Don't get me wrong, I know a lot of people would just fucking like, a lot of people would just start committing suicide because they'd be like, I can't do this, I can't handle this fucking werewolves and vampires and fucking, I don't know how to make silver bullets. It's just like, just use a spoon, you know? Fucking get up close and personal. I know I say that, but like if they're real, like, I mean, what are you gonna do with a fucking vampire? Those things are supposedly like shit quick and immortal. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it'd be interesting to say the least. Wouldn't it just be so satisfying though to see a lot of SJWs just get ripped apart by Hellspawn? I mean, come on. You don't want to see that on Live Leak? I want to see that on Live Leak. Michelle Rodriguez being that spunky badass tomboy in various sci-fi games and movies, I have appreciation for. Yeah, like, shout out to Michelle Rodriguez. Like, she was like that B tier female actress that's like not really that hot, but like you'd still give it to her because she's pretty, like she's fit and she's like physically capable and she's like a bit of a badass and she's not ugly and she's not masculine looking, you know, but she's not like gorgeous. She is very tomboyish, like, but it is like, she was in Resident Evil, she was in fucking, like, she's in so many things, like, where you're just like, oh, there's Michelle. Like, it's like, so who are we gonna get for the spunky Latina behind the bar? Fucking Michelle. There's lots of male actors like that as well, where like you just see them in fucking B movies and, like, you know, and some blockbuster things and stuff, and they're like, they have like a they're not an extra, but they're like, they're a fucking, what would you call it? Like secondary character or whatever. Like, what's one? The fucking Robert Duvall. Robert Duvall's in loads of movies, and he's not always like the main guy. Like quite often, he's just like a supporting role and shit like that. Time Splitters got like I heard Time Splitters was fucking savage, but I never played it. I heard great things about Time Splitters, but I never got around to playing it. Abraham was a cool dude. Nigga be waxing in the jungle. Yeah, I know. Like fucking Tarzan having no hair is actually just hilariously thick. Like, Abraham on TWD. Abraham was a cool dude. Like Abraham as in like biblical Abraham, or like are we talking fucking Lincoln? Have you guys seen Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer? That has got to be one of the most like unexpectedly actually a decent watch movies that I've ever seen in my life. Because I remember seeing the trailer for that and I was like, oh, you must be joking. And then I remember seeing it in like Extravision. And I was like, ah, fuck it. I mean, like, there's nothing else really here. So, like, we'll pick this up and, like, I can't remember what the other thing was we picked up at the time. Like, was 30 Days of Night. 30 Days of Night is fucking deadly. 30 Days of Night is one of the coolest vampire movies ever. Because they make them, like, realistic. They make it out like they are actually this like really old family that's like 1,000 years old, and like this has been their hunting grounds from time in memoriam and shit and all, like, and the way they, there's like no magic in that movie. It's just like you're in the middle of nowhere in fucking Alaska or Antarctica or something. I can't remember, like, are they south or north? I can't remember. But it was like that was like a really, they could have made a game out of that. They could have easily made, they probably did, and it was probably shit, but they could have made a great game out of that. Could have made a great TV series out of that. Like, fucking 30 Days of Night. Like, you could have done like like fucking at least 6 seasons of that with like throughout the ages kind of thing, where like you do 30 Days of Night like in fucking 1200, and then you do 30 Days of Night in like 1500, and then like 1700, and then like 1800, and then 90, and then like it'd be really cool to see like throughout the ages how like different people and different cultures dealt with a family of vampires showing up and murdering everybody. Like, I fucking love werewolves and vampires. Like, I really enjoyed the first 2 Underworld movies, and then Underworld Rise of the Lycans was pretty entertaining. Your man Bill Nye, he really did a good part as Victor in those movies. I love that fucking oh no, that's when he's playing Davy Jones. I was trying to think of a quote. Oh yeah, fucking there's a bit in, I think it's Rise of the Lycans, where Victor he has to dole out punishment to someone, and then I think his daughter is like, oh please stop, like that's enough or whatever, like, and it's like, what was it, the punishment is supposed to be 30 lashes or something, and your man's getting whipped in the background, and she's like pleading with Victor, and you can still hear the whipping going in the background, like, and then after he basically tells her no, he turns around to the fucking dude whipping him, and he's like, by my count, that's 21. Continue. And then leaves. Like, Bill Nye's like stage presence, and he's just a great, like, he's in fucking Shaun of the Dead, and even like he's got fuck all of a part in Shaun of the Dead, and he's brilliant in that as well. Like, you know what I mean? Just the way he delivers lines and all, like Davy Jones in was it Pirates of the Caribbean 3? Davy Jones is one of the coolest bad guys in fucking anything ever. You will watch this. Like, he had that accent perfect. That old English fucking, like, it was perfect. Like, fours. Call me a liar. Like, fucking brilliant. Iron Man Baru. Oh, I'm way behind on the chat, sorry. I'm sorry I missed your call, Iron Man Bear. I'm pretty sure I was asleep. Or was I? I can't remember. Um, only a gonger I can remember of one infirm. Was that supposed to be Ginger? Beauty and the Beast had a number of black Frenchmen. The remake, yeah. I used to love the original Beauty and the Beast when I was really young. It was one of my favorite movies that I used to stick on all the time in my nan's house. Was Beauty and the Beast. I loved the candle and the clock and the songs and the all the magic and shit, and I loved the Beast. I thought he was so cool. Um like the way they designed him and all, like that he's basically like he was like a Wendigo kind of thing. Like he wasn't really a werewolf. Like he was a beast. Like, do you know what I mean? Like he couldn't really place. He was like an amalgamation of like a werewolf and a lion, or like a lion man or some shit. Like he was really cool. Like all the major magazines companies are owned by Disney. BlackRock independent media is taking over. Yeah, like BlackRock's one of those things that like when you look into that even a little bit, you're like, oh my god, who the fuck are these people? They fucking own everything. Like what the fuck? Like like talk about a monopoly. Like yeah, that kind of annoys me the way Bill Nye and Bill Nye like have such similar names. Is his name Billy? Is it? I'm not sure. Thought it was just Bill. Because Bill Nye, the science guy, is like one of the worst human beings on the planet. It should probably be put in prison or put to death, in my humble opinion. Um, Whereas like the actor dude, Bill Nye, is like one of the best actors I've ever seen. Like I enjoy him in any movie I see him in. 30 Days of Night is the best vampire movie ever. Yeah, yeah, I probably would make that claim, all right. Yeah, like I know I made that claim a few minutes ago, but like I like actually, if someone was to pose me the question, "What do you think is the best vampire movie ever?" I'd probably be like 30 Days a Night, because it's so grounded, because it's so real. You know, Interview with a Vampire. You know, Interview with a Vampire is very gay, very feminine, very like creepy, very sexualized. You know, it's a good movie and it's entertaining. Like it's a well done movie. It's very like it's well acted and shit, for the most part. But it's a creepy, fucked up movie. It leans into that whole like necrophilic, pedophilic, fucking vampiric kind of thing, which as far as the lore goes, is supposed to be true. Like that's a big thing in anime, where they have these girls that like are young girls. They look like young girls, they sound like young girls, and then they put them in hypersexualized situations, or they straight up put them in like pornographic situations. And the excuse is, well, it's actually a vampire and she's like 450 years old. So well, actually, like it's fucking a bunch of coping like pedophile adjacent nerds. I've always found that stuff so fucking like that. Like it really is the one category of human that I would just be like, no, kill them all. like, like, just do it now. like, um, I don't follow hockey at all, but I really respect. Like you're on about ice hockey, yeah. Um, those guys are fucking hard as nails, and like to be able to like ice hockey is it's such a unique sport, because it's very similar to hurling. You know, it's very similar to hurling in a lot of ways because it's very violent. Um, and if you don't know what hurling is, it's like look it up. It's the Irish national sport. It's violent as fuck. Um, you do not want to get a smack of the ball or the stick in question. Um, and like they didn't even used to wear shin guards or helmets. Like it's crazy.
But like ice hockey is such a unique sport because like they're on fucking like ice skates. They have blades on their feet and they are gracefully maneuvering over a sheet of ice with like quite often the precision of like some fucking Olympic ice rink bitch. Like some of those dudes can move on the ice. You know, they can accelerate incredibly and like stop and turn and fucking like, you know, spin and shit. They can be incredibly graceful. And then to not only be that graceful, but then to swing a stick with all your might accurately and hit a puck. Like it is one of the most intense fucking sports out there. And the fact that they let them fight is just legendary. Lads dropping their gloves and punching the face off each other, like it's an incredible sport. But I don't think I would. I don't think I would enjoy watching it because, like, I played an ice hockey game and it's actually good fun because the way they do it, like, you have to like flick the stick to get the puck in the fucking right position and all this stuff. Like, the games are pretty fun. And I think I would really enjoy trying to play ice hockey because I would find it incredibly challenging. And then, like, succeeding at even minor things in ice hockey would make you feel like a badass. Like, you know, just getting the puck in the goal while skating, you'd be like, oh my god. Um, but I don't think I'd like watching it because like it's not, like maybe if you were there, you know, the buzz and then like you know the noise and like being able to see it up close and shit. But if you're just watching it on you know a screen and like you can see all the play like you're watching football or like soccer or whatever, the puck is so small you can't really see it, and the arena is quite small. Of course, it has to be, you know, like otherwise it'd be a bit thick. But it's like there's so much going on in such a small area, and there's so much precision and so much like hidden talent that you'd only really be able to see if you like slowed it down frame by frame, and you're like, look how he's maneuvering the stick in this direction while he's turning this way so that he gets the angle on this and blah blah. Like that all happens in a fraction of a second, like you know. So like, unless you really know ice hockey, like I don't think I'd enjoy watching it. Um, a good unknown Disney movie is Shipwrecked. Very good theme for young boys. Adventure, responsibility. Shipwrecked. I don't think I've ever seen that. That's not ringing any bells. Yeah. Do you know what's a Disney movie I want to watch again? Atlantis. I have a my spidey senses tingling and tells me there's like a load of gravy in the movie Atlantis that I didn't notice as a child that I would totally pick up on now. Um, Kid's name is Harkonnen. I definitely don't remember. I don't think I've seen that at all. Treasure Planet. I've mentioned that before. If you've never seen Treasure Planet, I think that's one of the best movies I've ever seen. Like altogether, is Disney's Treasure Planet. It's beautiful. It's well written. The animation is absolutely mind blowing. They do throw a bit of CGI in, but so do a lot of them. Doesn't really affect it. The characters are very memorable, and it's a really cool um, iteration of an already brilliant storyline. Treasure Planet is fucking brilliant. I would recommend anybody watch Treasure Planet. Fucking, I really like that one. I was close with a girl who was in love with Interview with a Vampire. She had some issues. Go figure. She named her cat Lestat. Yeah, like don't get me wrong. The vampire bitches, when you're like in your teenage years and in your 20s, like if you're like me and you're into metal and stuff like that, the vampire bitches, like the Wiccan bitches and shit like that, really hot. You know, a lot of them are really hot. You know, the tattoos, the makeup, the piercings, the leather, the straps, the chains. You know, the spikes. Fucking like, totally my vibe. But yeah, they always had like issues, like glaring mental like personality issues, like the type of thing where you like they'd be like such a turn off when you come across it that it didn't matter how hot she was, you know. Like I've come across bitches that are like drop dead gorgeous, and then you talk to them for 5 minutes and you're like, you're horrific. You know, like, and then I get even more annoyed because I'm like, why the fuck did your soul get put in that body? What a waste. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're a drop dead gorgeous female but you're a flying cunt, I think that's the female version of like you should be put on like a chain gang or something. Like, do you know, like I think women like that should be like brought to like a Muslim country, and like they should have like slap a hijab on them and fucking like, you know, like beat them with a stick until they're obedient. Do you know what I mean? At least you will make beautiful children for like a moral man, you vapid bitch. Like, do you know, like we're not gonna let you waste your physical beauty by being such an intolerable cunt. Like, like the kind of society I probably am related to Muhammad. Like, the kind of society I would run, I would be like, you know, like I feel like you don't get to be a bad person, like personality wise or socially, if you're like physically beautiful. Because if you're like physically beautiful, you should be like an example. You should be like because like visual stuff is like the easiest to like put in people's vicinity for it to have an effect on their mental state and stimulate them. That's why billboards are a thing, you know? Just put a big fucking sign, slap tits on it, and just say fucking, you know, Motorola. You know, like, and lo and behold, a lot of people buy Motorola's. You know, the fucking, like, you know, put a fucking really hot bitch on the Ferrari. You know, like, it's like, it's one of the easiest ways to manipulate, like, you know. So if you're trying to manipulate in a good way, that's what I would do. Is like, I would like, and apparently this is the stuff that happened in the Box Saga, where like they literally like were like, you know, you put the most beautiful people together to get the most beautiful children. We'll put the tallest people together to get the tallest kids. We'll put the fucking, you know, strongest people. Could you imagine if you got like a 6'2" Swedish, you know, snoo bitch who was still kind of attractive in the face, like, you know, still kind of pretty, and you stuck her with an absolute like fucking 6'8" like fucking Norse stud, and the two of them had babies. You know, you got fucking like 7'4" gorgeous blonde hair, blue eyed children. Like the amount of people, like I'll see 10 people in a day just around this town when I'm just walking the shops. I will see bitches walking around with a pram. I'm like, who the fuck put a baby in you? You ugly bitch. You know, and like, yeah, people, oh, that's such a horrible thing to say. But like, it affects us all. It affects us all. Why are horrible, low economic fucking, like I completely agree with when Owen says, it's like, hold on a minute. You shouldn't be making excuses for not having kids, because our ancestors were having 10 kids on dirt floors. Completely agree with that mindset, you know? But also, there's a reason they used to clip the balls and, you know, fucking, you know, like castrate fools and stuff and all that. Like, not just because of like bad behavior and shit, but if you're like fucking horrific and like, you know, also a cunt, like, man, you have to be like a fucking angel to get away with being ugly in my books. Do you know what I mean? Like, cause like I believe in physiognomy. I believe there's a reason you're ugly. Do you know what I mean? I don't think that you just got like handed the shit end of the stick by God or the universe or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? No, there's a reason you look like that. You know? And if you're not putting in the effort to make yourself look better, then it's your own fucking fault. You know? Like, if, like, you should be, like, that's what they fucking tell, like, that's what, like, agents would tell celebrities. It's like, okay, you're a bit weird looking, but you got nice big blue eyes, you know? So let's, like, you know, put this on you, and we'll do this, and you need to lose a few pounds, you know, blah, blah, like, you know, maybe gain a few pounds, you know? Maybe Having a really big, nice ass and titties will take away from how fucking butt ugly your face is. You know, like I look at it as like stats in a video game. It's like if you're like if your looks is like down here, then like you need to hit the gym more than other people do, you know? And like if your looks are up here, but like you're not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed, then like you should be trying to be as like intelligent as possible. And as like, you know, because like how disappointing is it when you see a fucking drop dead gorgeous man or woman and they're thick as two planks. They're just like, you know, fucking like, it's a waste. You know, like God gives us gifts, you should fucking use them. It's a disgrace. Just put boobies on it. Oh, The Lost Boys. Oh, Jesus. My ma loves that movie. Because all the lads in it are gorgeous. I've been meaning to rewatch The Lost Boys again one of these days, but I haven't gotten around to it. Oh my god, Max out there. You gotta pay that gay away. Oof. Oh. Oh, that's gay. Max out there. I've been meaning to Why? Why do you want to watch The Lost Boys? You better be fucking drinking. You better be drinking beer and like laughing while watching it. Like, do you know what I mean? If you're sitting down watching The Lost Boys, being like, "I love this movie," you're a faggot. Woof. Pay that away, man. Johnny Gadrew and brother Matt, 29 and 31 years old, were hit by a drunk yesterday and both killed. We're supposed to be groomsman in their sister's wedding today. Johnny was an NHL star for Calgary. Holy fuck. They were hit by a drunk yesterday and both killed instantly? We're supposed to be groomsmen in their fucking like... God damn. That's fucking insane. And like... You know what that reminded me of? You know, like the fucking unbelievable like... level of bullshit a few years ago when you had all these fucking cunts who, quite honestly, I would either I'd probably fucking, I would at least beat them within an inch of their fucking lives because of what they fucking said, like, you know, like, and how they said it. Like, it's like these cunts that were turning around and like on fucking news outlets and saying that the people who didn't get the COVID-19 vaccine were no better than drunk drivers. Like, the people who said that need to go to prison. Like, for some period of time. I don't, like maybe they don't need, like, just kneecap them or something. Like, you know, like, something. Something needs to be done to those people. Because that's, like, the amount of shit that people have gotten away with that they shouldn't get away with. And the amount of people that have been punished for stuff that should not be punished. Oh, he called me a nigger. Who the fuck cares? Are you a nigger? Oh, he called me a fag. Who the fuck cares? Are you a fag? It's just a fucking word. You know? But like, when you have people stringing a sentence together that implies that anybody who didn't take a fucking experimental drug is no better than a drunk driver. Like, you making that claim and like making it out like people, like, do you know what I mean, that like these people should be like hated to that degree and stuff. Like man, you deserve to get your orbital bone broken. Fucking hell, like these people need to at least be slapped upside the head. Do you know what I mean? Like, whatever about fucking, you know, like, I'll go off and say horrible shit where, like, these people need to be burnt at the stake. Like that's just me being, you know, that's how angry I am, you know? Is I use wrathful prose. I use wrathful, you know, language, you know? And for anyone with a brain, like, do you know what I mean? You could tell that, like, you know, like, if out of all people, like, I would probably feel incredible guilt executing someone, you know? I don't think I'm a psychopath. Now, don't get me wrong. It would depend on the person. You get some dude who's like, after like fucking one of my young cousins or some shit, like, you best believe I'll take that nigga's head off without a second's notice. Like, I won't even hesitate. I'll enjoy it, you know? But, like, just some random person who, like, stole some bread or some shit, like, do you know what I mean? And he's, like, crying, being like, I have 3 kids, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't think I'd do him, you know? I'd probably just pistol whip the cunt and tell him to jog on. There needs to be a return to, like, actual, like, that kind of, like, you know, cowboy justice, you know? And that exists in some states in America from what I've seen and heard. Like, it's like that episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's like, oh no, if everybody has a gun, the place is going to be so dangerous. No, if everybody has a gun, the place is going to be incredibly safe, because the second some gobshite decides to kick off, everybody just pulls out their fucking gun and starts laying it down. Like, it's like, the place would be so much safer if everybody was strapped. You know? Like, strapping everybody is leveling the playing field. It's so obvious that that's a whole fucking, like, no, you got to keep the fucking masses unarmed because otherwise we wouldn't be able to control them. You know? Places like Ireland and England and stuff like that, half this shit wouldn't be fucking happening if the fucking public was strapped. You know? If the public had access to firearms the way the Americans do, this shit wouldn't be going on. You know? Because every time something kicked off, a lot of people would just get shot in the head. Be like, what the fuck are you gonna do now? You know? Ooh. Yeah, where's your rhetoric now? You know? Where's your fucking... your policies and your bureaucracy and your rhetoric now? You know? Yeah, life is crazy. It is. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy cool, you know? I fucking love life, which is why I get so angry at these people, because they ruin life for other people. You know? Like, I'm the furthest thing from a hater, because, like, anything from, like, cultural stuff to food to music to fucking, like, I have a profound sense of enjoyment and satisfaction from, like, all areas of life for all different reasons and stuff. Like, I'm the furthest thing from, like, just hating on something because I don't like it, you know? The stuff that really gets to me is the stuff that I know is getting to everyone but nobody's talking about. That's the stuff that always has really gotten to me. It's like, I'd be in a room full of people, like, and everybody just has their head bowed because they don't want to fucking they don't want to rock the boat with this cunt here in the corner. And I was always the one to just be like, why are you being such a cunt? You know? And like, and then the people who are like bowing their heads, I'd be like, you're gonna let him get away with that? Like, you know, like, you see, my weakness is with friends though. Like, you know, if I love you and I care about you and you're really close to me, like, I tend to be much more lenient, which is actually a weakness of mine. Because then people use that to their advantage, and they're like, you know, oh, he likes me, you know, he won't care. Those people are even worse, in my opinion. They were riding bikes on a rural road in New Jersey. That's unfortunate. Like, oh, fucking, like, I do believe when it's your time, it's your time. Like, do you know what I mean? When you're like, it's a bit like maybe not completely. Like, you know, I do struggle with a lot of that. Like, you know, really meta cosmological shit. Like, where, like, I think there is a definite reality to, like, at any given moment, you have demons on the left of you and angels on the right of you, and like, you have your free will and you're making decisions. But at any given time, your like guardians and your I don't know, what would you call them, detractors in the etheric realm are like constantly warring over you. You know, you got your like demons that are trying to fuck with you, trying to influence you, trying to get you to argue with your spouse, get you to think about suicide, get you depressed, get you pissed off, get you fucking addicted to this, get you to fucking... They're constantly trying to break you down. Whereas there is also something that's constantly trying to like save your ass, is constantly trying to steer you away from that shit. And I think everybody has that. I think everybody has the angel and the demon. And I think most people these days inadvertently and ignorantly think that the demon is the angel. Oh, you deserve it. You deserve that yacht. Oh, you've worked so hard. Fucking have another cookie. Like fucking your wife just doesn't understand. Like, gonna be somebody has a painful painting. Glorious. Oh Jesus. The Paintingu gods. With I think the biggest super chat painting. Is this a record super chat? Was it a mistake? I wouldn't be surprised if looking like. I think that is the biggest super chat Paintingu has ever received. Paintingu gods, take the female out to dinner. Enjoy the weekend? ? Domo arigato for your patronage to Paintingu. It is gloriously appreciated. Yeah, the female will be happy with that now. What was I saying? Yeah, like I think everybody's just listening to the demon, like, listening to that fucking like, go on, it's okay, like, you deserve it, like fucking blah blah. Like I'm fucking the opposite. I'm like, and it does. I've said it before. It fucking gets to me. I'm always like, I'm probably kind of in a weird inverted way where like I'm listening to the demon that I think is the angel in the opposite polarity, because like quite often I'm like shitting all over myself. Like I'm like fucking like, you're not working hard enough, you're not painting enough, you're not creating enough, you're not fucking doing this, you're not fucking doing that. She's stressed out because you're not making enough money. This is all on you. And then I'm just like, Jesus Christ, will you get off my back? Like, like I'm not going to be able to do any of this if you fucking like make me feel like shit all the time. Like, which is like, I think that's incredibly. I think that's so true. I think like a lot of people these days struggle so hard in the day to day, because they think they have to. And it's like, I'm not saying that you don't have to struggle. You do need to struggle. The waters of life. You can't just sit still. You'll sink and you'll drown. You need to move. But like, you don't need to move to such a degree that like you hurt yourself. You don't need to move all the time where like you're like tired all the time and you don't give yourself enough time to recover. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm really like, I always really kind of end up circling back to this kind of like monk like yin and yang like Shaolin kind of outlook on life, where it's like everything has its place, everything has a reason, everything has a meaning, and there is a positive and negative polarity to everything, like, and everything is constantly in motion, even on a microscopic level, and there are entities that we cannot see, taste, touch, or hear that influence our reality. And like that for me gives me enough of a cosmological framework to understand how to conduct myself in the realm. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think you need I don't think you need such an extensive ideology. Because like, look how much of the Bible there is. Look how much of the Quran and the fucking Torah, and like, so much there. You can boil it down to like a fucking like 3-page brochure. Don't be a cunt. Like I think that's like that'd be a really good idea for somebody to do right now. Like, for a major publishing company or even like an independent company, like, somebody should come out with a new Bible. It's not really a Bible. It's just like a rules for life, And I'm not talking this like fucking intellectually fucking self-wanking fucking thing like Jordan Peterson that has like elements of truth in it somewhere. Like literally what I just said, like just like 3 pages with only a few words on each. Do you know what I mean? Like I think like some of the most profound shit you've ever heard is in like 1 sentence. Do you know what I mean? So like you could even just like look at all of it, look at the 10 commandments, look at like everything, and you just boil it down to like, obviously you can't just say don't be a cunt, but like you really boil it down to like a combination of basic science and basic sensory awareness, you know, like the pen is blue. Do you know, like I'd use that scene from Liar Liar as a profound example of like you cannot lie, you know. Yeah, but I can. Like you can lie, but what you like it will, the second you do, you create a bubble, a self-contained, like, you know, time bomb or some shit that will eventually come back to bite you, slap you in the face, whatever way you want to put it. Like, you know, you cannot lie in this realm. It will kill you. It will kill the things you want. It will destroy the world. Like you can't do it. Yeah, but I can do it. I have free will. Like, this is why you're retarded. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like that thing with the whole like, okay, I get it. Like the fucking the Mountain Bear cartoon on the Owens thing where it's like, okay, like, you know, no, it's okay. You've like, I forgive you. Everything's fine. You know, you just learn from your mistakes and move on. It's like, okay, yeah, totally. Thank you, Jesus. I totally get it now. Like, oh no, I'm jacking off again. Like I've done that. Like literally that. Like, do you know what I mean? I've when I started to like stop watching porn and all that shit. Like I had like weeks where I'm like, oh yeah, this really does like completely like have an effect on you and shit like that. Like, and then you have a bad day and you're just like, like take all your frustrations out on your own cock. Like, it's such a, like, when I look back at how I used to be, I'm just like, it's so pathetic. And like, what's even well, not what's pathetic about it. Like, it was pathetic behavior and shameful behavior, but what's actually like profoundly like rage inducing about being aware of it now, that was my past and I'm here now and all, is like, is how I didn't know. Do you know, like, I suppose part of me knew, no, well, part of me thought, part of me felt like, you know, well, porn's kind of, you know, whatever, like, you know, it's a bad thing or whatever like that. But then I would just argue with myself being like, yeah, but like, how many bad things are out there and everybody does them? Everybody's doing bad shit. Why can't you do bad shit? You know, what, are you trying to say you're special? You're not going to do bad shit? Well, everybody else does bad shit. You know, what, are you going to ruin the fun of life for yourself? Like those are the arguments I'd make to myself, where it's like, and that does sound like Satan talking, you know, where it's like, well, everybody else is doing it, you know, everybody else is like fucking bitches and doing coke and fucking, you know, driving fast cars and, you know, killing people and hiding them in shallow graves in the mountains. Like, you know, if all of them can have all the fun, then why can't you? Like, you know, and it's like, yeah, but don't they always get like a karmic like comeback and shit? Like, you know, like you never see people fucking getting away with like, you know, hardcore shit, and then you'd argue with yourself again, be like, yeah, they do, they get away with it all the time. There's a reason why the fucking authorities and the police and the news and all, they only show you certain things, because people get away with murder every day. People get away with fucking sex trafficking there's whole fucking, you know, like, organized crime is a thing. Like, do you know what I mean? There's fucking empires out there that like deal in heroin and women. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and they're there and they're real people, and they're like, you know, some of them could go like an entire lifetime without ever seeing the inside of a prison cell, because some of them are really good at being criminals. Like, you know, and then like part of me would like, you know, yeah, I kind of like the idea of being a bad guy. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, the bad guys in the movies are always the most interesting characters. The bad guys in the movies always have a point. The good guy is always the fucking goody two-shoes who basically has to fucking burst the bubble of the bad guy, where it's like, you know, oh no, you can't be killing everybody now. That's bold. You know, like there is that like, you know, like a profoundly frustrating struggle, that internal conflict of like, okay, well, why should I choose to be good? You know, explain to me. Explain to me why I should choose to be good and true and beautiful. And nobody could. No one could give me a good enough reason. You know? And I started watching Owen streams and like started crying. Like, you know, like just plays like to build a home or something, like, you know, like for you, for me. Like I just start bawling my eyes out, crying. Like I'm like, what is this? What's happening to me right now? Like I was like a demon. I was like literally like a fucking like full-fledged demonic fucking monster that heard this like, you know, music box playing in the background or something, and just like this fucking like this like deeply buried sense of joy, just this tiny little speck of light buried deep within my being was just like, oh fuck, I forgot what that felt like. Like, is that joy? like, like fucking like I'll never forget that. Like just like doing my thing, I was working out, I was getting on my mother, and like, you know, fucking trying to rebuild the relationship with the female and all, like, and like I was painting and I was making money painting, and I was listening to Owen a while, like, you know, and laughing, and like I'd never gotten upset before though, and he's like playing to build a home, and I started bawling my eyes out crying, because I just knew like deep within the center of my being was like, that's it, that's why, that's what I want. I want a beautiful wife and a beautiful house with a beautiful garden and beautiful children and beautiful friends. I want my life to be beautiful again, like, do you know what I mean? And I hadn't even noticed that it wasn't beautiful. You know? There's like this profound sense of like, how the fuck did I get here? You know? I had to like backtrack through my life and be like, where did I go wrong? When did it start? Like, what the fuck? Like, how did I end up in this seventh circle of hell surrounded by all these demons with all this fucking... Like, I felt like a demon myself. I felt like I had grown ugly, you know? And in a lot of ways I had, like, do you know what I mean? I'd grown unhealthy. I was losing teeth because of all the sugar I was eating. Like, do you know, it really all, like, came to a head for me, like, you know? And then there was just this, like, one catalyst of a moment. This like, fucking just this profound, you know, climax, but, like, wasn't sexual at all. Like, do you know what I mean? It was just, like, like, you know, just an apex. Just where two vertices meet, you know? And deep within my being was just like, oh, fuck! That's it. Like, oh, so shout out to Owen, you know. Man, they're gonna have such a good time at the festival. I've got serious FOMO right now. I really do. Serious FOMO. I'd love to be there, seeing them all in person. Now, first Braid movie was awesome, and the only Daywalker movie. Yeah, First Blade movie is a fucking absolute classic. I've seen that movie fucking so many times because an old friend of mine like loved it. We used to fall asleep to it. Used to stick Blade on and just fall asleep. Fantastic movie. Blade 2 is cool. Blade 3 is shit. I don't care what anyone says. That's like, as far as I'm concerned, like, I know it's my opinion or whatever, but like I'm trying to be like as objective as possible as far as like what is actually good like artistic content. And the first Blade movie is fucking phenomenal, especially for its time. You know, some of the graphics later on in the movie you could argue are absolute trash, but like for its time it was a fucking excellent movie. Second one, pretty good action flick, you know. Um, there's totally things you could complain about. It looked a hell of a lot better than the first one, sounded a hell of a lot better than the first one, but it didn't quite have the same gritty original soul as the first one. But that's an argument you can make about every fucking sequel to anything ever. The third one should not exist. It's trash. Get it away from me. Somebody burn it. The scale is literally amazing. No other pro sport is even close. No, I wouldn't make that claim. You know, that no other sport is even close. Hey, Woo! I don't know when you got here. Sorry if I'm way behind. I wouldn't make the claim that like no other sport is even close, cause like I mean you could fucking you could make an argument that where is it? Oh no, there it is. I like went way too far down in the chat. You can make an argument that fucking I don't know, like we'll take the big ones. I mean, like American football is pretty fucking hardcore, and there's a great amount of skill in that. Even though it doesn't look like it, looks like they're just running into each other. But like, you know, fucking there's a profound amount of skill and steroids involved. I mean, if we're okay, competitive sport, competitive team sport. Sure, you could probably make the claim that ice hockey is like a good chunk above the rest because of the unique combination of these guys are skating on ice while playing something comparably violent to American football and comparably skillful to like golf. So they're playing golf while wearing armor and they're allowed fight and they're doing it gracefully. You know. So yeah, it is like it's like ice hockey's like the trinity of sports. Like it's pretty impressive. Um but I just don't feel comfortable making that claim because like I'm actually not that big into competitive sports, so I don't really know. And then like if you're just talking competitive sports and not necessarily team, I mean like fucking MMA. Being a mixed martial artist and fighting somebody in a cage is probably the most intense, most like it can be incredibly beautiful and graceful looking. It can be incredibly brutal and horrifying and horrific looking within 3 seconds, like a second of each other. It takes an incredible amount of skill. It combines loads of different things. Like I would argue that's on par with ice hockey. Now, I know you can make the argument that they're allowed fight, in quotes, in ice hockey, but they're not really. They're allowed throw hands. It's not the same thing, you know? They're allowed physically, like, they're allowed punch each other. That's about it, you know? Like, if somebody picks up a stick or if somebody fucking tries to kick or whatever like that, like, that's completely illegal, you know? So, they're not actually allowed fight. They're allowed engage in, you know, pugilism. Like, which is hilarious. Like, it's one of the things I love about hockey the most is like when two lads throw the gloves off and they start circling each other on the ice. Like, is actually one of the most badass things that anyone does ever in anything. I will definitely concede that. Like, when two lads just throw the gloves off on the ice and start fucking skating around and be like, come on, nigga, you're gonna throw hands? Like, I know they don't usually be like that. Like, you know, it's mainly white guys. But, Eddie Griffin made a joke about that, actually, that, like, you don't see niggas on the ice and all, like, but if they did, like, the second that niggas get on the ice, they're fucking they'd beat everyone because black lads can throw hands better. Which like depending on the like depending on the area, depending on the group or like the population, you know, if like a lot of ghetto blacks, you could like argue like can throw hands, but then you could also make the argument that they can't because most of them use guns and they can't even shoot the guns. So the chances that the guys that can't even shoot a gun straight can throw a punch or fight doesn't make any sense. Like, do you know what I mean? Like from what I've seen over the years is that like most niggas actually can't throw hands. It's the lads who can't stand niggas who can generally throw, like, you know, the Mr. Johnson who owns a truck business or something like that. That nigga can throw hands. Like, generally, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, oh, you gonna fuck with me, son? You gonna fuck with me, boy? Okay, well, my papa taught me how to throw hands. Like, you know, like, forces the lad with sagging pants and a fucking 9 in his pocket. Like, I'd put my money on the truck driver, like, you know. But there's an exception to every rule. Like, every so often you do get this little fucking hot-headed nigga gangster fuck who can really throw hands. Like, it's likely those ones were broken by trauma of some kind, unfortunately. What, the vampire bitches? Is that what you're talking about there? Just put boobies on it. Do you remember the era where like most guys thought fake tits were like, you know, appealing? I never thought fake tits were appealing. I always found the bitches that like, and I like big tits. Like, don't get me wrong, I like big naturals. Like, you know, like I love a bitch with like a nice set of tits on her. Like, you know what I mean? Fucking, I mean, look at who I'm with. Like, but like, the fucking. The fake thing never got me, like, do you know what I mean? Because like I would see, like, especially when it's a skinny bitch. That's what I thought was so funny when you see like was it Mac and Charlie in that episode of It's Always Philly where it's like they're doing the ad for crow milk or whatever the fuck it's called. They're like, we all know there's only one acceptable body type for women, and that's skinny big tits. And it's like, I think skinny big tits is like weird looking. Like, like if you have like even take Laura Croft or Laura Croft, whatever the fuck, Lara, Tomb Raider, the first Tomb Raider movie, they put a like padded bra on Angelina Jolie because like she didn't have, you know, big knockers. And they wanted Tomb Raider to have like big knockers, and it's like, but it actually throws dudes like me out. Like, I'm sure there's loads of dudes who are like, oh, big tits, but like I'm not like, I mean, look at me, I'm into symmetry. Like, do you know what I mean? So like when I look at a female, I'm like, like, you take a bit off there, that'd be better, you know. Like, so when I see bitches with like inflated tits, I'm like, you ruined it. Like, like. And I think fake arses are even worse. First time I seen I remember somebody showed me a picture of Kim Kardashian, and like I nearly threw up in my mouth. I was like, fuck, what the, like, and the fact that it's oiled is even worse. It looks like a pig's hide. Get that away from me, like. But some people at like 1-year-old are hideous. They can't be the that can't be the infant's fault. Perhaps mom was totally bricked though. Yeah, like I've seen ugly babies. But sometimes you get an ugly baby that turns into a really handsome person, you know. I mean, I've seen that happen. I've seen kids who were like kind of weird looking when they're like, I was not good looking when I was younger. Well, I don't know. I was like the fucking Omen child when I was when I was a little boy. When I was a little boy, I looked like a demon child. Like porcelain white skin, bright red hair, huge blue eyes, and like really cute. I kind of annoying. Do you know what I mean? Very energetic and shit like that. The type of kid that a pedophile would go absolutely nowhere near. Like, do you know what I mean? Because, like, I'd be like, why are you touching me? You know, like, really loudly. You know, I never had any issues like that. Like, but then I hit my teenage years and my hormones kicked in, and yeah, I was ugly for a while. I was unattractive for a while. Like when I was like growing into myself, like I was like bloated, riddled with acne, a bit overweight. Like I had I didn't have titties, but like, you know, I didn't have pecs either, and I had a belly on me. And then I started smoking, and now I'm beautiful. That's a gay away that can only be paid off in financing. I wanting to watch Lost Boys. Totally. Like, man, you're gonna need to remortgage your house to get rid of that gay. Like, super ultra mega gay. They just need a stiff backhand, maybe 3. Yeah, like, you know, like I know I can fucking sound like a fucking dictator, overlord, fucking kind of thing. A bit like, they should be fucking kidnap the women and children and glass the place. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, like, some places do actually need that kind of treatment. But yeah, typically I would just like caning. A good caning or a good whipping, I think, is like great. You know. In a weird psychological way, I think that's one of the reasons why I used to self-harm to the degree that I self-harmed. I think I was like in a psychological way I was trying to like, because I didn't actually ever try to kill myself, nor did I ever actually want to commit suicide. Which is why it frustrated me so much, where quite often I would be put in like a counseling group or a talk group or something like that with other kids who are like, you know, oh yeah, I self-harm, and they're sitting there with their emo fringe and their wristbands and all, like, and then you look at like what they did to themselves, and they didn't even break the skin, you know. They do something that's just enough for you to see a line on them, and they're like, oh, you know, like, but I didn't want to, like, because I knew that if I did what I wanted to do, I would kill myself. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to die, but I'm really frustrated and angry. So like this, I suppose that shows like my level of intelligence is like I managed to rationalize to my I rationalized myself to a place where I was like, okay, well, if I hurt myself to a degree that it actually causes me physical pain and shame, then maybe that will work, you know, because like I didn't want to hurt other people. I wanted to like brutally murder my mother. I used to fantasize about it, but like that's a classic, like, you know, teenage boy, fucking father moves out of the house, and like I need to be a fucking man all of a sudden, and then like just all this fucking shit happens, like, you know, and your mother's a like literally a fucking pathological liar. So the profound sense of like I'm dealing with somebody else's problems and I'm still a fucking kid, and like, you know, you're supposed to be the adult, and like instead of being the adult, you're like literally fucking shitting all over me and I'm your child. Like, what the fuck? So I like hate her, and I used to like fucking, and I'd say because I did, like, you know, I'd say kids who, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, like it would make sense, like I'd say kids who actually end up doing violent things would probably fantasize less and would be more impulsive, whereas like I would fantasize and say stuff out loud to my friends in an attempt to vent all of that pent up frustration, because I knew that actually doing it would be wrong. It's very similar to the whole argument that like governments give about fucking video games and shit. It's like they're like, you know, well, if you're playing violent video games and doing all this violent shit, then obviously you're going to take it outside. It's like, actually, the contrary is the reality, you know? And it actually makes more sense that the contrary is the reality, because, like, if you do have a rational, like, human being doing something violent in a video game, your brain immediately goes, oh my god, if that's what it looks like and it's fake, imagine what it looks like when it's real. that would be traumatizing. Like, do you know, it like turns you off wanting to do it rather than turning you on. Now, granted, there's a few, there's an exception to every rule. So some people do, like, I know there's one lunatic who actually, I think there was a TV show who did an episode that was based on the real life case. I think it took place in England, where a guy was playing Grand Theft Auto 4 and literally went out dressed similar to Nico Bellic and stole a car, tried to get a prostitute and like stab her and kill her, you know. And it's like, yeah, that's like fucking 0.00000 fucking chance. Like don't get me wrong, there's always one, but like it's just one, you know. So where's your argument of like, oh, all the kids are gonna do it? It's ridiculous. Tar plus feather equals acceptable non-lethal penance. It depends on how you do it. You need to do it right, because if you actually tar and feather someone, you can kill them. like look into it, like actually, because like when you think, like, you're pouring hot tar on them, you know, like, so that's gonna fuck them up. You know, like, whatever about the feathering, but like, yeah, you could totally kill someone by tarring and feathering them. That's not a mild punishment. I'd like, depending on how you're going to be tarred and like, I'd probably I would like, dude, you'd probably rather be whipped, you know, or fucking what would be the other, like, caned or something, you know. Like, tarring and feathering's no joke, because it's like the tar's hot, you know, and then like it sticks to your, it's like, it'll stick to your skin and shit and all, like, you know, like, you're not getting, the reason they used to do it is because you're not getting that off anytime soon, and it's not coming off easy, and like, it's going to leave a mark. I would actually make the argument that, like, tarring and like, there's a reason nobody does that anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, places still hang people, places still put people in electric chair, places still give people a lethal injection. Places still fucking shoot people in the back of the head, or like cut their head off, or put them in the guillotine. Like, nobody's tarring and feathering niggas because, like, it's intense. You know, like, you know, like you think you're gonna tar him and feather him, and like, and it's gonna be like, ha ha ha, baka, baka, ha ha ha, like, you know, look at it. No, like, that dude's gotta be screaming in pain, and like, it is going to be funny later when he's like walking around the village and everyone's like, it's like feathers coming off him and shit. Like, but like, it's intense. That's an intense thing to do to someone. Like, I did that to pedophiles. That's a good thing to do to pedophiles, child molesters, stuff like that. You strip them naked and you tar and feather them. You're probably not going to kill them unless they have like a heart condition or some shit like that, or if you go overboard and they go into shock and then go into cardiac arrest or whatever. But yeah, that'd probably be a really good way to deal with like child molesters and shit. Is like, you strip them naked and tar and feather them, and like, fucking, you know, keep them in a cage and display them in the center of the town for a while or some shit, like. And like, don't feed him for like 2 or 3 days, you know, like, he'll live, you know, but barely. Like, there's no consequences. Need consequence for any society to function. Yeah, that is the fundamental thing that's been going on, like, you know, in the last like 10 to 15 years, big style, is like, all these people are just getting away with the shit. So that fosters a profound sense of frustration in the people that are trying to live good lives. Like that meme, like that Homelander meme, where it's like Homelander just like looking murderously into the distance, and it's like, me watching a criminal buy their third Lamborghini in their $65 million home, while I'm struggling to pay rent and be a good person. Like, there is a truth to that. That, like, it's a profound sense of unfairness and frustration when you see all of these cunts doing really well. You know, like, now I know that, like, you know, the arguments that Owen would make are true. That, like, you don't know what their lives are actually like, you know, and what being them is actually like. Now, for the most part, I would agree with Owen that, like, these people's lives are terrible, and there's an incredible amount of shame, and they're always looking over their shoulder, and they're never able to relax, so they don't feel true joy or love. Yeah, totally true. Completely agree. But there's an exception to every rule. There are guys out there that, like, just get away with being absolute cunts, and we know it. And, like, that's what fucks with a lot of people is, like, there's loads of us that know that that cunt should die, you know, or be put in prison or something, like, and it doesn't happen. And the governments or something turn around and make a lot of excuses or some shit. And then a lot of conspiracies, you know, crop up, and, like, people are talking about it on fucking Reddit and all this shit. And it's like, that needs to stop, you know. There needs to be a relationship. There needs to be a good, harmonious relationship between governments and their people, where it's like, the government needs to look at its people and be like, okay, we hear you, we'll sort it out, you know. But you also need a government that will keep its populace in check to a degree, because, like, there's a reason you need police. Like, you have degenerates, you have, you know, fucking people who don't want to be good, true, and beautiful and stuff like that. Like, so you need a government to, like, be harsh and efficient and, you know, intolerant of behaviors like that. But then you also need a government that's, like, compassionate and fucking empathetic and understanding and, like, wise in its allocation of resources and force, you know. Like, a populace needs to trust its government, and, like, that's not a thing right now. Like, don't let her just blow it all on Amazon.com. That's what I like. Wish she doesn't shop on Amazon. That's funny. Like, wish she doesn't actually do. Wish she doesn't actually do a lot of shopping. Like, once in a blue moon, she'd be like, "I need to buy a lot of stuff," and she will. She'll blow a lot of money on, like, jewelry or something, like. But it's always, like, cheap costume stuff to just throw on with a different outfit, like, you know. It's never like. Although I wouldn't be surprised, like, you know, I've thought about it when, like, you know, I have the money, like, you know, I was going to test her a bit. I'd be like, oh, what'll happen if I just hand her $1,000 and tell her to fuck off? How would she behave, you know? And, like, she probably would be like, ooh, you know, like, she wouldn't know what to do with herself, like. But I don't think she'd actually go over. Like, I think she would actually come back with change, which is a good thing, you know. But also, don't be a cunt. Right, it was like, but I'm crushing it. The system, meaning jail, is a trapdoor set up for people to keep coming back. Yeah, there's definite truth in that, where, like, it's just this revolving door of slaverism. Woke up to smoke outside everywhere this morning. Fire department was doing a 200-acre controlled burn down the road. Ooh. That's intense. That's the sort of thing that, like, I'd love to, like, if the art doesn't pan out and I can't make it, like, a good enough living doing this and stuff, which I doubt, because, like, every day is an improvement so far. But I would love to be, like, a fucking lumberjack, fireman, lumberjack probably. Like, I would love to, like, be an arborist. I love climbing trees. I love using tools. I love like either that or a carpenter because I love wood. Phrasing. I'm a big fan of wood. I love the smell of wood. I love the feel of wood. I love the feel of fresh wood in my hand. I love the smell of varnish. I love the smell of sawdust. I used to love woodworking school. I used to love doing carpentry in school. I used to look forward to that. You know, I'd be like in maths or geography or like anything really, like, and I'd just be like, I can't wait for woodwork. It was like an escape for me, you know. Just go in and just work on something. I did myself an injustice by not putting effort in the last year. I was like, I don't fucking care, because like in third year when we had our junior cert, I did a wooden trophy. I basically did a tiny katana on a fucking stand, and I did like Japanese kanji and like a cool design around the outline of it and all, like, and then I stained it with a nice stainer and all, and got me like a B+ or something. Like I described it, it was supposed to be like, this is the trophy that somebody would win in a katana showcase, a katana swordsmanship showcase competition. You know, this is the trophy they would win or something. Is this like tiny wooden bust of a katana, like, you know? And it was cool. I made it out of a hurl, because I was like, I want to make it out of a really hard wood, so it won't like, so a kid could pick it up and play with it, like if they wanted to, like. It was actually like a tiny wooden sword, and man, like ash, like hard, like fucking ash. As far as hardwoods go, ash is like, oh my god, like if you ever try to sand ash, Jesus Christ, it takes a year and a fucking day to sand ash. Everyone have a great day. Going to go try and make some money. Aren't we all? Nothing more manly than a feel of stiff hard wood in your hand. I know, like, there's just something about gripping a rock hard shaft. And giving it a good swing. Oh fuck. I'm gonna put some tunes on and I'm gonna paint a t-shirt on this T-Rex. And I shut up. Oh god. It's like the gayest thing I've ever said. Oh. It's all phrasing. Oh, it's hilarious. I fucking love wood. There's nothing quite like the feeling of a rock hard, well varnished shaft. Oh fuck! Did you guys see that thing that Port Bear made a clip of me ages ago, and it was from a Bertariat, not Bertariat. It was from a fucking Bear clan, fucking the Instagram channel that we had going for a while. It's still there. It's just we don't do anything with it. The Bear of Banter. That's what it was called. Bear of Banter. And I can't remember who I was talking with. It's probably Stuntman or something. But I went on this rant, and Port Bear fucking clipped it and turned it into a little meme video joke thing. It was hilarious. It was like what was it? The based homosexual. I think the based cowboy homosexual, who was like, fucking fags these days don't even know how to suck a dick. Back in my day, had to go up into the hills yonder, you know, get on my knees in the gravel in jeans, suck some real dick like a man. Like, it was like taking the piss out of the cowboys being gay and fucking in Brokeback Mountain or something. Like, And Poor Bear clipped it, and he put it over like Yosemite Sam, like going into a fucking Yosemite Sam going into a saloon and shooting the place. Owen and Cod are going to be rich. You all have so much to pay away. Says the Canadian. Fucking hypocrite. Fucking fags these days. Don't know what it means to be gay. Back in my day, I had to get on my horse. My fucking ass was leather by the time it got pounded. We had 3 days on horseback just to be gay. I think that's a hilarious bit. I think it's like the old school gay guy, like, who's like shitting on the new age gays, like, fucking fags these days. Don't know the meaning of gay. Oh, I'm crying. Big talk for someone in the land of maple and sodomy. Yeah, like you guys are so gay. Shut the fuck up, goddamn Canadian. Like, oh, fucking hell. Oh. Oh. Oh, God. You guys have so much gay to pay away. Says the Canadian. Oh. Where's my rag? My royal rag. Yeah, it's weird. Like, so because I played like nothing but Austrian Death Machine yesterday. Obviously, like, the stream didn't get suspended or anything, like, you know, it was fine. But it still gave me the copyright thing, you know, which I assumed it would, because, you know, all I did was play somebody else's music or whatever, and not just these random playlist things. But I find it odd that only certain things trigger it, you know. It's kind of annoying. But, like, that's what I think is funny, is, like, there's literally music on YouTube that you just type into YouTube, copyright free music, and there's, like, tons of shit there. Oh. Where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah, anybody else notice that the recent randomers haven't returned? I think it's kind of hilarious. Like, that fucking Egypt just being like, I'm here if you need me. Like, what the fuck? There's a never-ending supply of fucking weirdos out there. Get that goo throwing. Let that layer dry. Well, I won't let it. I'm gonna get the fan out. I think the ostriches look way better on this one. They're fucking adorably derpy. But I think you could easily make the argument that the first T-Rex was slightly better looking. And there's aspects of this T-Rex that I prefer. I think the mouth is way better. But I think the light on the other one was better. And I think some of the body was better on the other one. But, The fact that it looks like this, and all of this is freehand, I didn't stencil or draw this shit out, and like, I want to get a picture. I should be able to get a picture. It's so, how mad is that? That like in the same week that I had, we go to Japan, like Japan of all places, we go to Japan, and then I do this like epic fucking thing, and it like turns out deadly, and I'm working on this big symmetrical, and I do that in the streams, and the symmetrical was looking fucking deadly, and then my phone breaks and a lot of stuff happens, and then I freak out and I fucking destroy the fucking thing and all, like, and the easel as well and everything. Like, it's like was that supposed to happen, or did I fuck up, or like, I don't know, like, do you know what I mean? I know I fucked up by losing my temper, but like, I don't know, like, I think it's profound to sometimes be like, when something initially that you're like, oh my god, that's awful, why did that happen? It's like, was it though? You know, like that Chinese parable of like, you know, oh, your horse is missing, that's horrible. Yeah, maybe. Oh, your horse is back, that's great. Yeah, maybe. You know, like, that's a great parable. It's all just about perspective. Undurpable ostriches have been achieved. I might, if I could make this a bit sharper looking, oh, I don't know, it might be too big. Yeah, it might be too big. I was gonna say this would make a fucking hilarious T-shirt. Imagine that. Imagine this on the back or the front of your T-shirt, with just PEINTEINGU written on it, like. If we ever make a PEINTEINGU cartoon series, these guys are like totally in it. Like, I think like PEINTEINGU needs a home base in Japan, obviously, you know, but like we sail around the world doing all this painting stuff. But anytime we return home, oh, the samurai village, that's it. We already have that in the lore of PEINTEINGU, that like there's a local samurai village that like watches PEINTEINGU, and anytime I don't do PEINTEINGU, they like freak the fuck out. These are the police for that village. Like, that would be fucking brilliant. Sky's mad looking right now outside. You got really, really dark rain clouds over that side, and then it's still like gorgeous blue skies, fucking brightly shining sun the other side. Contrast is hilarious. There was a double rainbow that I seen like a few weeks ago when I was walking back from the shops, and it was easily one of the most intense, striking, like, oh my god, fucking hell, like you cannot not see that thing. Like it didn't look transparent. It looked like a totally opaque rainbow in the sky, and there was two of them. It was fucking fantastic looking. Those are my favorite kind of days, where it's like, it's, you know, not too hot, like, but it's nice and warm, and it's like beautiful blue skies and stuff like that. But then a light shower comes in, and there's like some dark clouds, and then boom, you get the rainbow. Those are like my favorite days. A contrast between the dark and the light. The trinity of polarization. Did you check for a pot of gold at one end of the double rainbow? I never need to check for the pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. I have my own one at home. It's one of the perks of being Irish. And ginger. I was born with a pot of gold. Like I came with a pot of gold. It's like the nurse comes back in to like my parents, and it's like, congratulations, Mr. Roach, I present you your son. And it's like, oh my god, he's beautiful, oh my god, I have a son, and he came with this. Like, we don't know, like, just take it. Like, here's your son, here's the pot of gold he came in. Like, stream's going a bit choppy. Weird.
Truly, you have never watched paint dry like this before.
Yeah, stream's like choppy. I'm losing some frames. When I was born, I had a full beard and wooden shoes, holding a bottle of Bacardi. It'd be so. How funny would it be if that's how we, like, instead of being babies, we just came as smaller versions of ourselves? Like, I came out in a kimono with a headband and a top knot. I could see the head, and then it's just like, boom, just the top knot just like comes out, and it's like, whoa, what the fuck? This one's wearing a headband. It's like, oh. I fucking love that stuff. It dries so quick. So handy. I wonder why the connection got all choppy all of a sudden. That hasn't happened in a long time. Not that I've noticed, anyway. Okay, will I put the Japanese redstone on the t-shirt, or will I put, like, I was trying to think of something else. I think I could put a emote, like a smiley face, on the t-shirt that looks Asian. You know, just with the slits and the fucking two front teeth, and maybe even a rice paddy hat. Because, like, we already have the sun, and it's all very Jap, you know. I think just putting a red circle on his chest wouldn't be as good as we could make it. Painting goo goo. Painting goo goo. Yeah, Asian Chinese emote would be hilarious. Painting goo goo. Painting goo goo. Not quite. Did your internet provider not hook up new potatoes to their system yet? I'm afraid not. No. But it's not plural. I mean, you'd probably be surprised, but then again, you're American. But we actually just have one big potato that all the electrical systems are hooked up to. So, no need for a new potato. Or other potatoes. Just one big potato. On top of the hill, you know, near the end of the town. It's just this giant fucking potato. It's like, I'd love to do a skit where, like, somebody comes to Ireland and, like, there's like a village of people, like, and they worship a potato. There's just this, like, doesn't even need to be a big potato, like, it could just be a normal sized potato just in a shrine in the middle of the village. Oh, grabble, 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 grabble. Oh, grabble, 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 grabble. Like, painting cuckoo, painting cuckoo, painting cuckoo. That last layer of white I put on was a bit thick, so it's taking that extra bit longer. I think we're good to go. Get the euro! Oh, gross! Give it a quick shock, eh? The idea of a potato cult is hilarious to me. Oh, that'd be fucking brilliant. For the grabble! Like, Like you can do it like they're all like, you know, chanting or whatever. You just have a potato open the shrine, and like the priest has like a fucking shawl made out of potato skins or something like, and it's like, oh, oh, tay, tay, to, to, like do the whole imagery, the fucking, like, you know, it'd be fucking brilliant. Like he's got a staff with a potato on top, like, baked, mashed, or boiled. It is not for us to decide. The potato decides. Ask not what you could do for the potato, or well, what the potato could do for you, but what you could do for the potato. It's been like that for a while now. I'm wondering why it's losing frames. Maybe the internet's just not as good today or something, I don't know. Ugh. Should I make the T-Rex derpy as well? Part of me is thinking that if I just did a big, like, the same kind of just bulging, like, derpy looking eyes on the fucking... Well, not obviously just one eye, but like... Because don't get me wrong, I think T-Rex looks great, like, you know, but I think it would just make it that bit funnier if it also had a big derpy look on it, like. I don't know, let me know. If I was gonna make it derpy, I'd have to change the eyelids. I'd have to modify the eyelids. Painting cuckoo. Painting cuckoo. Painting cuckoo. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Derpy ostrich. Derpy T-Rex. Derp, 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 derp. Give me all the derp. I like the T-Rex as is. I agree. It was just a thought. I'm being impulsive with my derpness. Getting addicted to the derp. Alright, need a different bitch. Painting cuckoo. Where's the skinny bitch? Where's my tiny skinny bitch? Yeah, maybe I have to lower my bit rate or something, I don't know. It's like fuzzy and slower. Weird. At least it's still going. Like, you'd think they would have told me on my end that the stream was suspended. Like, you had to tell me that I wasn't appearing on the screen, like, you know. There's nothing my end that was like, your stream has been suspended due to copyright or whatever. Nothing, like. I'm just sitting here like a gobshite, thinking everything's fine, like. Man, I seriously completely, like, I totally understand where Owen's coming from. The fucking stress, like. Of, like, the smallest, like, most seemingly innocuous things, like, and you're just like, are you fucking serious? Like, this fucking bullshit? Like, and it does also, it annoys you even more when you're, like, you know, when I'm like, oh, I want the stream to look, you know, good or whatever, like, you don't know, and then you put the effort in to, like, get a fucking Ethernet cable so the connection's even stronger and shit, like. Well, it's after coming back now. I'd say it's the weather or something, I don't know, like, God only knows. Painting cuckoo. Painting cuckoo. Cuckoo cuckoo. Painting cuckoo. Do 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 do. Painting cuckoo. Do 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 do. Okie dokie. dry. I'm gonna put the buck teeth on it and then rice paddy hat, and then we're done. I'm gonna sign this bitch. And that will conclude Japanese Ostrich Paris Mark II. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Isn't Vermont like the gay capital of the US? More maple syrup than here. If it weren't for grungy, our per capita would be crushing. I don't think it's fair on grungy for you to just like offload all the gay on grungy, like, do you know what I mean? I mean, you are Canadian and you've committed seppuku like a dozen times and some shit, like purely out of shame, so that's plenty of gay, you know? You're responsible for all of that gay. You and you alone are responsible for all that gay. Oh, that was way too much black. It's like English historians looking back on now. Oh, that was way too much black. Much too much black. Okay, not quite the color I want. We're getting there. Yeah, that should do it. You're mistaking Vermont with California, and I'm based in New Hampshire now. So like, and I don't live there anymore. So anyway, haha. It's actually hilarious. Okay, while the hat is drying, and I wait to put another layer of colour on the hat, I will finish off the teeth. I'll say one thing, this T-Rex has a far superior t-shirt. Why wear a police uniform when you can wear one of these? Oh. I believe it is complete. Let's sign this bitch. Right, my beloved Japanites. It is complete. Japanese Ostrich Paris Mark II is finally here in all its glory. Witness it if you dare. Right. Painting. Right. This concludes today's episode of PEINTEINGU. I hope you enjoyed Ingu. Please, go forth and enjoy your weekend. Many blessings upon you and your families. But remember to pay for PEINTEINGU, or your ancestors will look upon you with great shame, for you have no honor. In the meantime, be good, be true, and be beautiful. And I shall see you Monday. Hi.